Welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome. And welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness. I wanted to just go into a little flow. So it's just some channeled information that comes through from my higher guidance team. I tap into different dimensional frequencies that we all have access to in our own ways. And I just like to pull through whatever messages might be helpful for the collective. Sometimes it's wordplay, but we'll see what the energies kind of share with us today. So some of this is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis. So let's drop in. I invite you to take a deep breath in, drop into the heart, and just kind of relax. So I'm going to do some sound healing, toning. I hope that comes through. Sometimes the microphone cancels out the sounds. We orchestrate different sounds through the sound system, if you will, the matrix that holds together the input and output system. We invite you to share in your own frequency, in your own way, the sounds that are there deep inside that you have yet to connect with. For we are opening in this lattice work ladder compilation of reality different subsets, or I'm hearing tiny bubbles, like champagne, like bubbles. Hey, all visions work in this. I'm just seeing bubble, bubble. Oh, and I chose the bubble crystal behind us. It's kind of what it looks like, kind of what reality looks like to me. We share different tones, frequencies, languages, dialects, if you will, to help us to dial up into these deeper subsets that are within the human skin suit. Yet they are not only a physical compilation of sounds and geometries expressed through sound, frequency, light, waves, currency. They give us accessibility. They give us the ability to see and hear more clearly, to break through the redundancy, play on words, of inefficiently expressed geometries that have been coagulating or blocking certain sensory perceptions. So we are all being encouraged at this particular juncture to go within, as always, to express these soundologies so that we may move into the morphology of the human body and template structure in a much more fluid, lucid, and expandable way. For if we do not voice what it is that we have the ability to sound out, and we mean frequency, not just words and dialect that expresses an opinion. We mean sounds that are a feeling. We mean feeling into the sounds of the words that we are producing. We are being invited to feel into the meaning behind the words that we are producing. So the intuitive abilities and capabilities and the ability to channel information can become easier for those seeking answers at a deeper level. For each one of us comes automatically packaged, if you will, with the abilities to access these intricate patterns that are interwoven within the human technology template. The template has been upgraded, if you will, for those who are willing to listen, for those who are willing to take the time, play on words, to tune into their own inner percussion, their own inner rhythm, and to voice this in such a way that it gives all of us the ability to play. For when we listen to language, when we listen to sound, song, movement through the voice, when we listen to the enunciation, pronunciation of words, it activates something within it, within us, does it not? For within this signature, within this frequency, are deeper meanings, layers, and vocabulary that help us to interpret one another, to interpret our environment, to interpret the matrix that we are all poured into, so to speak. And we are then able to access and interpret the energy that is available within the pores of the technology that we are encased within, and the subsets or the pores that are part of our matrices, the part of our reality that we are constructing. And so we are being invited to constructively carry forward our enunciations so that we may speak more productively in a productive manner in order to create matter in a higher efficiency. Letting go of the old programming nature, the old programming enunciation that has been poured into our reality through television and radio signals, and the influence, if you will, of a frequency that no longer is giving us the adaptability that we need in order to move through our reality and weave in a more positive way. And so we are slowing down this transmission today because we are really wishing to convey, excuse me, a message. And this message we need to convey in a simplistic, a simpler type of expression, because it really is important for us to get back to the simplicity of nature, the simplicity of our own nature, and to nurture all of our abilities that are coming online. For if we ignore the sounds that are coming from our voice, if we ignore the feelings that are coming up within our sensory system, if we ignore the visions that we are having that may even be prophetic at times in nature, we begin to look past what is right in front of us. And this creates a future that is null and void of what we are actually seeking to express. It is jumping, if you will, into a future variation that does not hold the quality of sound, that is not sound, if you will, that does not hold the resonance that is felt within what we are experiencing now. And for those who are stuck in the future, those that are unable to access the now, this is even more important. For you are creating a future that is not present, that is not holding the presence of your true sense of who and what you and we are, truly. We are creating instead in a version of reality that is not truly reality. We are creating a reality that is based on falsities, that is based on claims, that is based on what others have claimed is reality. And we then latch onto that. We bring it into our view. We see it, feel it, and resonate with that and create more of that disharmonious interaction without or lacking the true nature of reality, and in fact, lacking the connection with nature, with our true mother nature, with our true care and comfort that is within us to then project into the reality of our future generations. We are creating a future generation that is lacking the nurturing care of self-understanding, of understanding the higher self, the higher realms, and the deeper resonance that is part of who we really are. We are instead projecting into a future full of technology-based implications, applications, and future frustrations of lack of understanding our true development. We are developing programs that are based on a false security, that are based on a sense of who we think we are, and lacking in feeling and the true motivation that is the spark of light that emanates and animates this technology that is the human skin suit, that is the human template, that is the human interaction and connectedness with all things. I'm hearing all things great and small. And so here we are in this momentous time yet again and again and again. For every moment that we breathe in and out, in reflection and refraction and the fractal of everything, the more we take the moment to moment to move into a deeper sense of who. I'm seeing that caterpillar. Who are you? Who am I? What am I? The more we lack or move into this lack mentality, play on words like mental reality, the less we understand our true capacity as humans, the more we shut down our senses, and the more we rely on a senseless system that keeps us in a space of domination, if you will, for we are giving our power to that reality, to those forms of technology, to the inorganic reality that is not harmonized with Mother Nature, that is not harmonized with the nurturing aspect that is the gift that the human holds of compassion, of creative expression, of light, of connection to the elements, the plants and the animals, to connect into our own cellular matrix and to recognize the living organisms that are encased within this body is a gift. We are each an individual walking template structure of life. We hold inside of us organisms that are here giving us life, that are giving us the ability to interact in such a beautiful way. To take that away would be unthinkable, would be, I'm just seeing, to not have that would be a huge loss, obviously, loss of life. And they're showing me that there's a lot of us that aren't living. We're so tuned into what's outside of us, our technology, our phones, our just future tripping, that we're really just not taking the time to recognize what's happening in our own bodies, to what's happening with our interaction with each other, to really fully embrace the majesty, is what I'm hearing. The majesty, okay, this has to do with the crown, of our own semblance. And this has to do with like, oh, I'm being called to play with this. So I will. Okay, so semblance, I always like to look up etymology of words, that guides play with words because they're like, This is the juice of life right now. So semblance is the fact of appearing to view. That in itself is a play on word. The likeness and appearance. To seem, appear, to resemble of the same kind. So outward shape and form. So this is such a wrapped up meaning. The guides are just basically showing that we're not actually seeing what we're seeing. The fact of appearing to view. So something shows up for us in order to see it. We're not seeing that. Does that make sense? Like, we're not recognizing that something is showing up for us to see it. Something is showing us up for us to see it because it is in our own likeness. And, it reminds me of the have I not told you ye are all gods, and the semblance. I bring up a lot of the Bible, even though I can't tell you a lot of the biblical quotes, but it's valuable. It's a beautiful book to really utilize as a tool for guidance in life in so many ways. But we're not seeing our own, we are that, right? We are wrapped up within this body of source energy, God, whatever you want to call it. We are part of that. We are that everything is, it's like what all of the teachers say, like, may the light within me see may the light within me see the light within you. Namaste. Like, are we seeing that? And also in the quantum, or in the idea that we're creating our reality and the matrices that are around us, are we recognizing that what is showing up for us, by us seeing it and recognizing it, we then create more? If we're doing it unconsciously and it's technology, it's because we're not recognizing some of the things. And by the way, I'm being called because I hear people going, well, technology can be a very valuable and beautiful thing. Look at how it's going to help us advance. Yes, we are the creators of that technology. But sometimes we're looking to create technology that isn't necessarily what is going to be the answer or solution to our problem, because our problem that we're trying to solve, and I'm hearing like a mathematical equation, is actually solvable by us seeing God, if you want to call the structure of reality, in all things. Love, light, whatever we want to label that as. And this is kind of, I'm giving trying to do a very broad perspective of the message that's coming through. And because we have the gift of the ability to view in form, that whole sentence is like, we're in form. Because we're in form, we can see. But because we have this form, we're able to interpret reality that we do see in a physical way that we would not be able to do outside of this package. As a spirit, outside of form, taking on a different form, we hold a different perspective. So we came here to be in this form, to express through this, using our senses, our hands, our energy, our heart, our ability to tune into more than what we are in this form and bring it in through this form in expression. We are creating technology, but technology is an expression of this form. So if we're doing it unconsciously, why are we doing it? And who are we doing it for? What does it support? And is that what we truly want to support? And this is all, they're just trying to get us to look deeper into all of this. And to move away from technology for a moment and just to go back to the architecture of the human spirit. We are gifts. Each and every one of us gives each other a gift by being in the space and company of one another. For when we hold the space and we accompany one another, and we hold each other's hand in this reality, we send a signal back to this reality. We send a signal to the plants and animals. We send a signal to Mother Earth. We send a signal to our galactic brothers and sisters. For we are part of this quantum entanglement that is the ripple. And we move with this compassionate expression. This compassionate expression or wave is then impressed upon, I'm saying imprinted upon, our DNA, our reality, and our complex structure that we live within. So why are we not recognizing this in our own dimension? Why are we not recognizing one another as being our brothers and sisters in this expression? We might venture to say it is because we have all been playing in a distorted view or reality complex that was created at one time so that we could live reality in a particular form, wave, variation, expression. Yet we have moved on. So we invite everyone to move on, to let go of the need to express in the same form that once was important for our deeper understanding. Because we have come to a deeper understanding, and we do not need to continue to carry on the old habit patterns to re-understand something we've already known. But we must go within to recognize what we already know. Many of us are pitter-pattering around, following in the footsteps of another, thinking mentally, projecting that they know more than we do, that they are our appointed leaders. But appointed by whom? Appointed by what dimensional frequency? We would venture to say that often it has been because of the template that we were once creating. And now we are seeking to create a better template, a better structure of reality, a better way of interacting and exchanging with our reality that gives us the opportunity to grow, to expand, to deepen our sense of who we are and where we are headed, to better understand through clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy, how to operate within this reality in a higher and more advanced civilization. This advanced civilization need not be void of technology, yet it need be void of void, meaning it need be something that has a depth and meaning that is bigger than avoidance, that is bigger than emptiness. It is bigger than, I'm just seeing heart versus mental mind. And that's it. It's machine. So do we want to be the machine? Can we find our unity with one another? And I'm hearing to avoid that void. So I'm being called to just drop in for a moment. When I tune in clairvoyantly to how and what we create, there's different pockets, what I've been told by my guidance team and shown, and they call them the void. There's spaces in which there's different creative energies that flow and flux through them. We can say there's different waves or geometries or sounds or harmonics that interact and exchange with each other. And certain voids of creation are inaccessible to us for multiple reasons until we can get to a place. And that's, by the way, this definition, this description is based on a linear perspective. It's always available to us because we are already part of that void. But in this reality that we've chosen to operate from within and to create from within, this matrix, if you will, we don't access those other various places of expression if we are not able to fully envelop ourselves in that through bliss, through higher consciousness, through developing all of our senses. And part of it is so that we don't develop senseless realities. And by the way, I'm hearing been there, done that. There's been versions of us that have created things that really weren't good in the long run for everything. Yet no energy is, everything is used by the universe, if you want to call it that, the universe. Everything is utilized. And once we come into that understanding, understanding, right, we become able to create more through the living architecture instead of just AI, right? And there's a big, I have a feeling we're going to be rolling into that in the future in more channelings. But if we want access to these gifts, then it requires us to unify with ourselves. And if our brothers and sisters are a reflection of ourselves, then it also requires us, in order to do that on earth to the highest of our capabilities, to unify with one another. And again, this doesn't mean, I'm hearing, by rolling over and saying, okay, I give in, you win. It's not a competition. By unifying within ourselves, we ultimately do unify with one another. That's the way it works. So when we keep looking outside of us for somebody else to fix the world, that means we're not looking inside of us for what we need to fix. And fix is not the right word, because theoretically there's nothing broken. But in order for us to truly be in unification, yoking, in oneness, right, we do have to balance the imbalances. We do have to correct and bring ourselves into proper alignment and harmonious existence. Somewhat of a coherent, balanced space, yin and yang, right? We want to be that center line so we can access the fullness of what we really are capable of accessing. And I'm hearing, you don't know what you don't know. And then I'm hearing, know thyself. So if you know thyself, you know what you didn't know. Whew. We can't have all of the knowledge right now. What would the fun be in that? That's God, basically. We came here to be an expression of a part of the fractal, to be able to learn more, from my perspective, about ourselves, about what we do have the capability to do. And we're simultaneously creating that. Whew. Yeah. So let us end on this note. Our trajectory is right on track. And what is our trajectory? When we look into ourselves and our heart, and we conduct with an efficiency of heart-centered mindfulness, we merge together the mind and the body, the spirit, in entirety. And I'm seeing, when I say entirety, I'm seeing a tire, and I'm seeing the toroidal tire. We begin to weave with reality, and we begin to create the track, the sound, the song, and the linear expression of that track to expand and move forward into a greater world, a greater trajectory that keeps us moving into expansion rather than contraction. Yet there are moments of contraction that give us the ability to feel and break through those shackles, if you will. Not that all contraction is shackles, they're just talking about the old programming, right? And as we break through the shackles, we recognize what we have been doing in the past that has kept us tied down, if you will, locked into a particular pattern. And when we begin to clear those distortions from our with new clarity, we do not recreate those patterns. Instead, we create new, beautiful patterns that were unseen before, for the door had been closed. We had been under lock and key, one might say, but now we have the key. And not only do we hold the key, we have already been given access to this greater space. Can we feel what that greater space would feel like? Coming from a place of compassion, compassionate wisdom, inner knowing, inner standing, and staying within that full spectrum in order to create an equilibrium that has yet to be felt. Yet it has already been created. So can we feel into that equilibrium with the robustness of full flavor, full spectrum, full encouragement? And so we encourage you to feel into the fullness of what is being created and recognize how it feels as we create it, so we may enhance our experience in full creativity that comes from a higher place of knowing and converges in on itself through an implosive, expansive, expressive, light beam acceleration, activation, and upgrade. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in.